Welcome to our podcast show, and today we have Otto from Cougar Gaming. Cougar Gaming. So Otto is the first time at COMPUTEX, and I hope you enjoy COMPUTEX. And tell us more about you and how you got into Cougar. What's going on there?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show, and also for pointing out that was my first time at COMPUTEX, and also for wishing that I had a very good time at COMPUTEX in such a nasty manner.
Oh.
But we all know how that's going down. But yes, I'm Otto. I come from the music industry.
Oh, interesting.
I'm a musician. I play drums and
drummer.
piano. Yeah, I play drums and piano.
Okay.
But I did, the whole music school thing and all the rest of it. I've been a musician for a very, very long time. I came to Cougar Gaming because I'm a gamer. I love games.
Okay, there you go. You got it out.
That's the answer.
So,
So,
okay.
I mean, that is principally how I came to Cougar Gaming. And, in fact, it's like this with all creative industries, whether it's music or gaming. If you don't have a passion for the industry, you're not going to be able to work.
I agree.
In it, there's a level of authenticity that you can't kind of project unless you're really into it yourself.
Right,
So that's my background and how I came to Cougar.
Now, for the folks at home, there are a lot of different brands in the space. Cougar is one of them. What is that Cougar origin story? Like, how did they come to be? Like, because Cougar's it's got a kind of a funny connotation in North America. It can mean either an animal, or it could mean it's that lady from the American
She's out
Pie
to have a good
series.
time. She's out to have a good time.
And she goes to Las Vegas a lot.
Right. Coincidentally, we also go to Las Vegas quite a lot, but that's not the origin of the name. So we as with a lot of Taiwanese brands. There's a little bit of a renegade flavor to a lot of Taiwanese brand. We always try, there's always something a little different about Taiwanese brands that sort of sets it apart. There's a little bit of
umami.
There's if you got to put it that way, but there's a little bit of edge to a lot of Taiwanese brands. And Cougar was adopted because as an animal, it projects, dynamism. There's a bit of a predatory kind of vibe to it. It's just very alive. There's a sense of being alive and being reactive and being, very, very fast on the cuff with
And
things.
being proud of your age.
Age is just a number. So
That's right.
So that's how. And the thing with Cougar is that I mentioned before, just a couple of seconds ago, that we're all gamers here at Cougar. That's important because, we try and we know what it is to play. We know what that is. It entails a creativity. It entails world building and all those things, and that's what we bring. That's the kind of philosophy we bring to our products.
There's a research on hand-eye coordination on kids.
Yeah.
Right? The gaming these days with kids, their hand-eye coordination is so fast. They would eat the mouse moves that they use. He's already moving the mouse. His eyes is already 10 times fast. So they're already not twitching, but hence
Twitch.
But they're already on there without you thinking. We don't even think about it because the eye-hand coordination there is so fast. And the gaming sense in terms of gaming, mouse, keyboard, and mice. And Cougar's all there ready, right? With all their accessories.
Well, because, something that's also not very well known with Cougar is that the parent company of Cougar has access to a lot of tech. Most of which has nothing to do with gaming. It's just the parent company. It has a lot of R&D units. And actually, one of those R&D, I believe it's a recent acquisition, is they engineer medical rehabilitation equipment.
Okay.
So with things like with our peripherals and our chairs, especially, we do actually have people who make medical grade products to consult.
Okay,
on
interesting.
that.
Interesting. Talking about chairs, gaming chairs. During the pandemic, apparently there was a sale. They couldn't make enough gaming chairs. It was sold out.
Well, yeah, because everybody's at home playing.
Yeah, exactly. So gaming chairs was a big thing, and also I see a lot of older generation buying gaming chairs rather than just your standard office chairs. gaming chairs give you that kind of back support, right? And
Well,
everything.
because chairs. I mean, you're in kind of a sedentary position for quite a few hours of a day. You know, I mean, if you're even if you're not playing in a tournament league, you're there for what, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. You know,
lots of Zoom calls.
And so, I mean, so you need something with a bit of support. And if you're a conscientious manufacturer, you try and take into account, and you're trying to keep you keep your customers healthy so they can remain your customers.
What's the word they call it? Is it ergonomic?
Yes, ergonomics. Yes,
ergonomics.
That's. But I mean, it's a little abused nowadays because everybody says they're ergonomics. So I mean, it's sort of one of those words which become a little bit diluted simply through repetition. Right. But yeah, ergonomics are a big thing, and actually now we're looking like once people who came. Started sitting in gaming chairs from because they play games. They've actually adopted this product for just for working, because it's just simply better for your productivity in general, because it keeps you in a much better position. It keeps you much more supported, and if you can game for 4 hours on it, then you can type for 4 hours on it. And actually,
totally.
What I've noticed is that a lot of my friends, because I come from a musical background, a lot of my friends who are musicians, they spend an awful lot of time in front of the computers, especially these days, because they're doing a lot of editing on their suites, they're doing a lot of post-productions. Yes. Mm-hmm. A lot of them actually are starting to use gaming chairs for their editing work and their producing work. And even if you're a guitarist, you even sit there and practice. I mean, you have to kind of take the armrests off the chair.
Can you do that with a Cougar?
You can, yes.
Actually, you can. Well, but you build it. Well, you say build it. Assemble it. You can actually take off the.
Yeah, you can take off the armrest.
You don't have to have it.
Yeah, So I mean, you can adapt to those situations. So it's not just about it applies to a broader range of activities than just sitting in front of a computer screen playing.
Yeah.
You also do gaming desks, but also office desks. Right.
We do. I mean, it's it has the same philosophy as our gaming chairs. But to be honest, I find that our gaming chairs are better office chairs than our office chairs. To be honest.
Interesting. So is it just a demographic thing? Is it did the medical people in your organization, did they help make that distinction, or is that why would they be different in terms of the ergonomic formula that you have?
I think sometimes it's just it would also be just because gaming chairs have a certain look to them. Okay. They have a certain aesthetic
Maybe
to them.
Some different materials, perhaps.
I mean, when talking about different materials, like you're talking about like a foam density.
Yeah.
And actually, we've had some people because we're currently sponsoring the Valorant regional tournaments in Europe and the Middle Eastern region, and one of our flagship tournament level chair, we call it the Terminator, is actually the official chair of that tournament. Okay. Yeah. And so and it works great for the players. Something that actually, now you're talking about having a bit more of a firmer support. They've come back and said, yeah, this thing is great, but like it's kind of a little harder than what we're used to. And we say that's a feature, not a bug, because if you're there for about 4 or 5 hours, if you go on something too soft, your spine's going to melt.
Yes, so, that's true. You need the support.
Yeah, right. So your back will thank us for it. Yeah. And actually, once you get used to something that's a bit harder, so to speak, you don't go back.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because during my search for orthotic inserts, I skipped the orthotic thing because I just couldn't stand going to the doctor and waiting and paying $400 for a set of inserts. Right. So I started looking at certain insoles and everything and that. And one company in Canada called Sol, they actually have inserts that are ergonomically shaped, and they say exactly what you said.
Right.
Is that it's not the cushion that makes the support. It's actually the shape that allows the contours of your body to do the work that they're supposed to do.
Yeah. So, and it's when you're designing lumbar supports, you want something that aligns with your back. You want something that keeps your back in its natural position to maintain its own structural integrity, if you like.
It's like that's S shape on the spine.
Yes,
right?
that is absolutely. So it's got that chair in particular. We're talking about the Terminator, has 2 points of articulation on the outside, and it's on the outside for a reason, is because it holds that shape a bit better if you have that kind of force applied from the outside. So when you're you don't really when you're sitting in it, you're not aware of the fact that your body is being supported in that shape. It just kind of assumes it naturally.
It just over time it just adapts, and then that's the way it's supposed to be.
And that is the way it's supposed to be. And if you kind of sag a bit, or you sort of slouch a little bit, it kind of stops you from doing that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And
it's like when your dad smacks you in the back. And you have to kind of straighten up. It's exactly the same. It's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like this.
Okay, we at Cougar do not condone violence like that, but that is a good point.
We are in Taiwan right now, so it's all good.
it's all good. Yeah.
All right. So gaming accessories aside, you do of course power supplies, cases, and things like that. Cases always been your main kind of stay.
That
right?
has, yes.
So, and I've seen a lot of modding now with Cougar cases.
Yes.
That's a big feature. I've seen a lot of mods now on the modding community using the Cougar cases. Tell us, this year, you're going to have anything new, or is it going to be just the same kind of features with all the RGB?
No. We have quite a few things coming out. So we have the last case we had that was very mod friendly was called the Kratos.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Which actually that won an award recently, an international the IF Design Award, and that's always been. We always we're talking about we play, so we know what it's like to play and be a part of the gaming community. And a lot of that is about expression of creativity.
That's right. Yes.
And so with something like the Kratos, we wanted to provide people with a canvas, to put their own spin on things to design. I mean, the Kratos is a very strong design base to begin with, but because of how it's put together, it has
you can kind of mod it, add your own kind of module things
absolutely.
to it.
It's it goes as far as your imagination takes you, and there's a lot of it's got there's a lot of you can get a lot of viewing from it because it's mostly tempered glass on all sides, and so you get you can see what happens in between, and it's also an open frame design.
Open frame.
So it's got minimal housing. It doesn't immediately look like a case.
It doesn't look like a case, and it's distinctively Cougar. You can see it, right? You see that case, it's Cougar.
Yes, it's a very strong brand.
Exactly, and that's one thing I really like about Cougar. I'm talking about gaming and stuff like that. Streaming is a big thing now. Any kind of thing about streaming? Are you going to produce anything for streamers?
Well, because we have such a huge portfolio, and we do have streaming products, but streaming these days, it's because we tend to think of streaming in terms of gaming content, but streaming these days applies to such a huge area of content delivery because it's just a fact of the times that
I've actually had a
in.
Cougar mic from
Cougar mic.
Yeah, and it says my name on it. Cougar microphone.
So we've personalized.
Yes, you did.
Thank you very much.
But going off what you're saying there is that yes, we talked about gamers as a content creator, but there's also Korean guys eating cheese.
Yes,
and so, that's also streaming.
I mean, and, there's a lot of life, and of course there's so many channels now. I mean, if you stream on TikTok, it's a different different demo from when you're an Instagram reel, and we want to be able to provide something that people can use in those kind of in those kind of different kind of areas of content. So we are looking to expand the portfolio. Yeah. We at the moment we have we've got the Screamer X microphones, and that's the one you've got. I think that's the one that was personalized for you. That was customized for you, and we've also got the Cyclops camera. It's a 360 camera.
Oh, neat.
So yeah. So it's got this 360 view.
But you do mic arms and everything, right?
Yes, we do monitor arms, and actually I want one of those. I haven't. But the thing is, I've been advised not to risk it because
what's that?
Because so I'll tell you why. Because my desk at home is glass.
No, you don't.
Bad idea.
So if I tighten it, it's gonna crack. But it would look so badass.
It's one of those which comes out too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really like that as well.
So you've got that kind of you can pretend you're in kind of a Mission Impossible movie or something, or running comms or running ops of some kind, because it's a dual monitor setup.
It looks really nice.
And what we have at the booth is we have the two curved monitors.
2 curved ones?
Yeah.
You
So-
can wrap yourself around it.
Yeah.
So you got a pretty good setup.
It's almost like everything's coming full circle because when the Radeon, I can't remember what it's called, but it was a crazy ass Radeon that had 6 outputs on it. Samsung made a monitor that actually allowed you to use all 6 outputs. But what they did was they actually created a frame and put 6 thin bezel monitors onto this frame, and you could build it and put it together. It would give you 6 monitors, like you were a day trader or something like that.
Wow.
And Samsung Canada,
That's very Minority Report.
I know. Samsung Canada sent me that. Well, actually, AMD sent me the GPU and Samsung sent me the monitor. It was kind of a promo, and I actually built that on video. I built the entire system out of the box, and the box was huge. It was like on its own mini skid.
Right. So, I would imagine there's 6 of those.
6 monitors.
That's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
then you turn on Crisis.
Yeah. Can you play Crisis?
Exactly. That's what you do.
Right. So those products are interesting because, like I said, the Streamer X was new, and then you had the 360 camera.
Yeah, the Cyclops. Yeah.
Any streaming control decks? That's kind of popular. Rode X, Streamer X is one of
Yes,
those.
the Streamer X.
I want to get one of those.
Yep.
You know, those little control units. I think was it Stream Deck? Is it Stream Deck? Elgato?
Elgato has the competitor has
That's
the
it, yeah.
Right.
That kind of stuff. And then you got the monitor arm. I seen you mic arm as well. That's
Yeah,
quite
you have
nice.
it on my cam. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's part of the display on the booth this year at COMPUTEX,
okay.
but that is part. That's we offer that.
You're covering the entire kind of range of categories for not just gamers but also streamers. I can see.
Yeah.
And Cougar, again, the brand is there. It's so distinctive. You look at that product and you know it's Cougar.
It's pretty distinctive.
That's
like
neat.
going back to you asking about case. So the Kratos was it's a very mod friendly case. But there's a new version of that coming out soon called the Kratos Aero, which is instead of so here's the thing with cases. We love glass cases because it looks cool and you can see all the RGB lighting inside. But things are only going to get hotter because of graphics capabilities and board capabilities.
Yeah, glass is not very good for thermal.
So we do have we do have a version of that comes out which has a perforation on the panel.
Okay.
And the nice thing about that is that if you already have the glass the version with just the glass front panel, you can
just swap it.
Yeah. We can swap it. You don't have to get another case. So we had that in mind. But there's some things like we have a full tower coming up with the Panzer 800 that. Again, that's because you mentioned about Cougar has a very strong design philosophy.
Identity. Is it that good identity?
And the Panzer, it was designed. It's a full tower, so
it's massive. It's huge.
It's 400 mm capable,
huge.
and it's an armored beast of a rig. I mean, this thing looks like it's bulletproof.
But you called it a Panzer for a reason because a Panzer is a
Yes.
tank. So therefore, it's correct.
Yes,
it's correct naming.
and so but that was what inspired the design of this, and there's often a design story behind our products, and it functionally it relates to this case. In this particular case for this chassis, is that because something that's important if you're working with ordnance or logistic vehicles is that the ability to field strip something to make it easy to maintain and upgrade and clean is pretty it's of a fairly high priority. So what we did with the Panzer case was we made everything, the panels, that it's all toolless assembly.
Toolless, it can come off easy.
It come off into very few very few hinge joints. So all you do is it's just click it and it comes out from the sides and the front panel, and you can you're not going to change graphics cards every hour.
Okay,
but
depends on who you are. But
depends on who you are. But most people aren't going to do that.
No.
But it's up. If you wanted to do that, you could very easily with this
There you
case.
go.
So we put the we try and meet the needs of the extremes. Even though you might not need it, we would make sure that it's possible for you to do so.
Right.
Yes.
So that's coming soon. Okay.
That is coming out soon. Yes.
And,
So that is shown at COMPUTEX. That is exhibited at COMPUTEX, and we're expecting it kind of like the third quarter of this year, something like that.
Okay, so you told me interestingly earlier on about you're into music, okay?
Yes.
And this is your first COMPUTEX, but you've been into other exhibitions, music ones, right?
Yes.
Tell us more about that, because I'm interested.
Okay, so I'm an older. It's the North American music market, the NAMM show in Anaheim. the Winter NAMM and Summer NAMM. It happens twice a year, or it used to. I think the timing's changed now, post COVID.
Yeah.
But I used to be in there. Used to go there every year, and it's a.
Because music is broad range, different, instruments. There's the radio side, there's the instrument side, and broadcasting side. Which part are you more?
Well, I used to work for a drum manufacturer, and I used to work in artist relations for a drum.
Which drum manufacturer?
I used to work for Mapex Drums. I used to work for Mapex Drums, and I used to work artist relations for them. So I came into contact with a lot of.
Did you do any
artists.
backing tracks?
Not myself because I knew. But I got other people who are way better players than me to do the tracks for us. Guys like Ross Miller, who was a session drummer for American Idol, and he also played the drums on Wonder Woman. In fact, you can hear Mapex drums on Wonder Woman.
Oh, so there's a distinctive sound to those drums.
So yeah. It's the one that with the cellist, the Wonder Woman theme.
Could you do that twiddly thing on the stick? With your hand.
Yes, I can. The twiddly thing on the stick is it's actually very easy to do, but it doesn't record very well. You are discouraged from doing it.
Okay. All right.
But if you're in a live show, you put on a little bit of a
it's showtime.
So everybody has a rock and roll story that they tell their grandkids. My rock and roll story is I had breakfast with Alice Cooper at a show in Indonesia.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because one of our endorsers at the time, he was an artist. He was a drummer for Alice Cooper, and I went out there to see the show. Yeah, that's why. So that's my rock and roll story. So
all right. So
very cool.
Well, any cool questions, Stephen?
I think you know what. I think that you are moving in a very interesting direction because you do recognize that not everyone might be a gamer because you also have the business line stuff.
Yes, of course.
And I think that a lot of these products, like the monitor arms and everything, have a crossover into the business space.
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, I suppose when we say gaming is a headspace as well as an activity. I love games, but there's a lot of time I've spent away from games. And that's but I do take that. We hope that there's one that people can learn from playing games. As you say, you get like kids develop amazing hand-eye coordination, but I learned half my organization chops from doing speed runs of Resident Evil. So I have incredible inventorying chops. But there are things from games I think that you can take into to other areas, and I think there shouldn't be that much of a distinction between the two. I think so.
I think there's always the perception that the guy in the gaming chair in the Zoom video, it's like, I wonder if he's staying at home playing games or is he working today? But if you're very lucky and very talented, that is your work. That is my work. I play games all day long.
So
will there be like? Cougar obviously is a company that takes a lot of feedback from their own people internally.
Absolutely, yes.
Right? And they hired you for a reason because your musician background gives you a completely different perspective on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Do you see any of your music experience transferring to any new products coming in online? Because I know that microphones might be something that might have some
microphones. I'm not a product manager. I don't develop product, but where I do see my own experience coming helpful is not only so we have headsets as well, and it's odd. It's funny you should say that because one of our headsets recently was reviewed and they said, interestingly enough, the upper partials, the upper frequencies of that headset were particularly of note. For being very, very quality, and with a lot of other headsets that are maybe that people used to listen to music on, it's a little bit too bass heavy. Which is cool if you're listening to music, but if you're playing games and if you need to listen to if you're playing something like Sekiro or anything with a parry, you need to listen for a clang and that
and frequency.
Right. So actually that maybe takes a little bit of specialization to really take advantage of. Maybe something that I can something that I can help with
for
in
sure.
Future. So
because there's so many headsets out there. There's like this V shape in the frequency, but it's too deep.
Yeah.
You need it to come back up so you
Well,
can get that.
if you need
mid-tone.
like if you need to have like a lot of effects, if you're not a lot of particle effects and a lot of if you're in interaction RPGs,
Yeah.
you need like that clang I was talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, you need a little bit. You need it to be a little bit upper partial heavy.
Yeah,
in those cases.
and I'm sure that this is a space that you definitely know about, and you're going to be able to push it through because there's a reason why there are so many different headphones out there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's a
yeah,
reason why
yeah,
monitor headphones and the ones that you use in the session and your IEMs probably
Yeah.
when you're drumming
Yeah.
are completely different than
Yeah,
everything else
yeah,
out there, right?
yeah.
And in terms of like there's other things that people create too. Like we're doing a podcast right now. Do you have anything for those creators that are up and coming?
I would say just like so with music as with all kinds of art, authenticity is everything.
Yeah.
So you don't you make content that's important to you. If it's important to you, it'd be important to your audience.
Yes.
Like don't make things for the audience. Make things for yourself. The audience will follow. That's like authenticity is in music is everything. So that's what I would
and
say.
the customers and the community, definitely answer to those because they're the ones that use your products.
And they pay.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, and that's all the time we have for. So thank you, Otto, for
Thank
joining
you,
us
Otto.
on our
Thanks for
podcast
having
show.
us. Thanks for having us, and thank you for your support.
Yeah, definitely. Thank
got
you.
it.
So enjoy the rest of the COMPUTEX. And
likewise.
don't forget, guys, to tune in to our podcast show every Wednesday with Stephen and I with some great content. Until then, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.